Hello and welcome back to the Puncher's Chance podcast with myself, Sam Hill, and as always, I'm joined by
Harry Tovey
and
Ben Thomas.
And in today's episode, we're going to be talking at last weekend's fights with Inoue and Canelo both fighting. We're going to be looking ahead forward to next week with a full weekend of boxing, as well as talking about some controversial moments in boxing and some new signings for a certain promotion. Now, this weekend's fights, I mentioned it, obviously, Inoue, the big one, Canelo, another big one. But that Inoue card actually had a couple decent fights on it. I don't know what you boys thought.
Yeah, there was some decent fights on the undercard. Obviously, his brother fought for his world title, got dropped in the first round. They basically mirrored each other, didn't they, in a way? But
yeah,
some good fights. Jason Maloney as well lost his
He
title.
didn't look right, Jason Maloney, from what we've seen
That
in the
Takai
past.
was really good. I think if the last round was probably another 30 seconds to a minute, Maloney might have finished him because he was out on his feet at the end.
I thought Maloney looked really good in patches.
He didn't throw enough.
There was moments where he looked really good, and you could tell. But I feel like this with Inoue as well. When you fight some of these Japanese guys, you just look bad at boxing because they are so good. Their footwork, they're so crisp. Like, it's so difficult to fight. Jason Maloney's a top fighter, but
Yeah, he's very good.
he just wasn't good enough. To be fair, an 8-0 going into it as well, Takai. So fair enough, he's not had a huge amount of pro fights.
No, that's the first time he's gone 12 rounds, and he's 9-0 now. Obviously, world champion after 9 fights. That's a good going.
That's not bad going.
He was decent to begin with. He looked very powerful. I think it was like obviously just with it being the first time he's had to go full championship rounds. He was feeling it, especially the last round. You could see by the time the final bell went, he could hardly keep himself up, but he done what he needed to get the win. So
The other thing I can believe as well, the fans, how
Japan,
crowded
yeah.
it was as well for the early fights.
Yeah, it was mental. I mean, there was 40,000 fans, I think, in the arena. It's the first
Keep
time.
going.
I think it was.
55.
I think they confirmed it was 40,000.
Oh, okay.
When Inoue fought. I saw it on the tweets, but yeah, 55,000 arena. The last time
we nearly saw what happened with Mike Tyson there, with Buster Douglas.
Oh, the commentators were praying for an upset, weren't they? So they kept going. I think when we'll obviously get onto that, but when and he said big Inoue, like monster Inoue, rather than his brother, got knocked down. They were like, "Oh, is there going to be another upset?" The last upset was when Buster Douglas beat. I was like, "Okay, you were waiting all night to pull out that fact that Harry beat them too. You beat him to that fact."
I did.
We'll get into the fights in a little bit, obviously more detail. The thing that blew my mind was how many world titles do you think were on the line this weekend across the Canelo and the Inoue ones? Quickly, don't try not to do too much maths.
6.
I'd say 40.
He's trying to do maths.
18.
There was 12 and 2 interim belts,
Okay.
so 14 belts were on the line.
You don't count the interim belt, so come on.
Well, they held the belt.
I got that right.
They got to hold the belt, so
The only thing you got right this weekend.
I can guarantee, Harry, if you were winning that interim belt and you got to hold that belt in the ring,
buzzing, but let's be
it
honest, though,
counts.
it's not a world
No, I
title.
know.
Come on.
Obviously, you mentioned Ben lost the predictions on the
Again?
Canelo fight, and then you've lost it. You've lost your touch
he's,
a bit.
he's having a
Yeah, I know.
stinker.
You're
I'll get it back this weekend.
getting complacent with it.
This weekend.
Like we said, so the two Inoue brothers obviously both won their fight eventually, but Naoya Inoue, that performance was unbelievable. The thing that blows my mind is how much power he generates with such short punches. Both knockouts were or knockdowns were like this far apart. How he gets the
He
power,
just times them so well.
such good timing.
When they showed it in slow motion, the first knockdown as well, with the left hook, just the way he stepped back and just turned into it was really good shot.
The other thing is, I thought his knockdown, or when he got knocked
was
down,
dropped heavy.
was a bit weird. Like, I think he
I think he
tried
just
to.
got caught off
I think
guard,
he tried to pull from the shot, so he was pulling himself back and turning, and got clipped at the same time. So it just sent him off balance.
He was playing with Nery, though, weren't he? Let's be honest.
That fourth round, he's taking the piss.
He's like a Ben Whittaker, but in an undisputed fight. It's unbelievable.
There's only one guy I think that can challenge him at was it Super Bantamweight, didn't it?
yeah.
Need to get him over here and get him fighting Liam Davis.
I think Liam Davis would be your best shot.
I think he probably
Does he
moves
move up
to.
now?
I don't think Inoue
featherweight.
beats Liam Davis.
He probably.
Sorry, I don't think Liam Davis beats Inoue. Absolutely not.
No.
I don't
It's
think
a
he's
good
got it.
fight. Both power hitters.
Yeah, but he's just.
It's a closer fight than this fight, I reckon. With Luis Nery.
Yeah.
They were saying that this was
Yeah.
the biggest challenge of his career.
Yeah, and Nery lost to I want to say Figueroa,
He was
who
on the
was
undercard.
fighting on the undercard of the
Good stoppage.
Canelo Munguia and lost to a body shot, which is the way Figueroa finished his fight on Saturday as well. He's just too good, I
It
think.
looks like he's going to fight that Sam Goodman, who's the mandatory challenger, and then probably move up to welterweight, doesn't he? I don't think he goes any bigger than welterweight. I think if he pushes super welterweight, he's going to lose his power then at that point.
Yeah, but he is
Against people
also
bigger than him.
he's a 90% KO rate currently in his career. He had a massive KO rate as an amateur with head guards. I think he still averaged like a 70% knockout rate. So he's clearly got power. So I think he could transfer himself up. It's just how much he'd lose his skill or his speed as much, and would he feel good going up in weight? I mean, we saw it like with Canelo against Bivol at light heavy. Sometimes you can
welterweight,
just
to be
go
fair, the weight's
one
not
too far.
welterweight.
Yeah, I was going to say welterweight's a fair jump.
Featherweight. Nick Ball. Imagine that.
That'd be some fight. It would be the first time I think Nick Ball fights someone the same height as him.
Him versus
Ray
Nick Ball.
Ford, you could have. Ray
Yeah.
Vargas is some good fights.
Ray Vargas.
Ray Vargas would be a tough ask
Yeah,
with
that's
the
like
height.
Tim Zhu and Fundora.
And Sebastian
Is it?
Fundora, yeah,
Fundora.
he's huge.
Is he the pound for pound number one in the world? In a way.
Yes.
Between him and Crawford.
I think the thing is, since...
You say that. I've got a stat here that has now disappeared.
Is this
Fights
since...
since January 2021.
Yeah, that was literally what I was about to
Inoue,
say.
7. Terence Crawford, 3.
Yeah, I think based off of that, do I think if Crawford was more active, he could be the pound for pound number one over Inoue? Absolutely. I think he's got the ability to. But you don't fight, and it's hard to argue. 7 wins in 3 years and wiping the floor with the division. Gonna wipe the floor with the next division. Probably will wipe the floor with the division after that.
But does he lead Japan?
three weight world champion, isn't he?
Yes, he was the second 3-weight world champion
So he's
after
won-
Crawford.
12 world titles then. If we're doing maths today on this show.
That's not bad going.
It's not.
That's
I
not
think
bad
it's
going.
15 belts or something.
15 belts.
Did you
Wow,
see them trying to put the belts on him at the end of the like there was like 4 guys like trying to just like find a gap for the
And then Bob Arum turned up as well. Fair
Yeah.
play for a 92-year-old. He is busy for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, that was doing the rounds, wasn't it, on Twitter. I love the thing as well. It was the all the different venues he's going to be at, and it was like Tokyo, New York, Saudi Arabia, Leeds. It's like I think there
Leeds
might
is
be
on the map.
I think there might be an odd one out there of I don't think Bob Aaron's getting too excited about his trip to North Yorkshire, or West Yorkshire, I suppose it is.
Where's Leeds?
West Yorkshire.
And he's a Leeds football fan.
No, but like my family's North Yorkshire, so I get confused. I get them mixed up.
Can
Let
we
me
all
off.
agree that Leeds are falling apart again?
Yeah, I can agree with
As
you on that one.
always.
And public announcement: I'm not a Cardiff fan. Niall, I saw you in the comments. I'm not a fucking Cardiff fan.
Did he put in the
He's a
comments?
closet Cardiff fan on one of the videos. It's not. I'm not. I have a respect for football shirts and the biggest club in Wales.
When you wearing
and
it
that's
though
all.
for the Champions League or something?
I was. Yeah, I went on a football podcast, and yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm not a Cardiff fan though. Don't get that twisted. I don't
I
want
think
to.
he's a Cardiff fan. If he wears a Cardiff City shirt, you're a Cardiff fan.
No, because this will come back and bite me when I want to interview Josh Warrington. I'm a Leeds fan. I'm a Leeds fan. Everyone says I'm a Cardiff fan. On to the Canelo Munguia fight. As we said, I think when we were walking up the stairs to record this podcast, the undercards weren't great. Figueroa got the knockout, body shot, like I said, then 2 12-round points decisions. It's a lot of boxing to watch. Fair play if you stayed up for it.
It was an underwhelming undercard.
Nat. Did
Just
you
like-
stay up for it?
No.
Just like Haney Garcia, wasn't it? The only good fight on it was Stanios and Mastri, I thought. I thought that was a decent fight that opened up the main card.
I think generally though, if you put Mexicans and South Americans on fights together, I'm not saying this in any sort of bad way, but South Americans don't get
Fireworks.
stopped,
Fireworks.
and the Mexicans tend to be much better fighters. So it's just what will generally happen is it'll just meander to a unanimous decision victory to the Mexican guy.
What happened in the main event, wasn't it?
Pretty much.
Munguia was, I thought, round 1, and then after round 4, Canelo was just
knocked
he just
out.
went straight into
Yeah.
fifth gear. And
I gave Munguia, I think, round 1 and 2.
I had it
just 'cause
116, 111.
I think Canelo was looking really comfortable in those early rounds. He didn't look bothered. And maybe that's because I watched it having known the result, that I was almost telling myself that if I watched it live, I might have thought differently. But yeah, I think I gave him the first couple rounds, but it wasn't a case of me thinking Canelo was ever going to lose that fight. it was a case of thinking, okay, he's just, nothing really hit him. I think when you watch the replays back, they kept showing the replays in between rounds, and the amount that just hit Canelo's gloves, or he just about slipped.
It's just a different class, ain't he, Canelo? And we were all saying there was going to be a close fight, but after 4 rounds, like I said, just one-sided.
Yeah, that knockdown was really good. The uppercut was such a clean shot. He just timed it so well.
It's the first time for a lot this weekend, and Inoue getting dropped for the first time in his career, and Munguia. So
yeah, I mean, I imagine Munguia is going to be hugely disappointed with that first loss, but I don't think it's made Munguia look any worse. If anything, actually, I think he'd started those rounds really well. The problem was Canelo knew he could defend, knew he could do the rounds, and so all he had to do was just let Munguia try and keep up a pace that he was never going to be able to keep up for 12 rounds, and then build himself back into the fight, which is exactly what he did.
Seen the same with Canelo years ago against Mayweather, though, no?
Yeah.
Had a defeat against him, learned a lot from the fight, and went on to obviously become the fighter he is, so I think it'd be the same for Munguia. He'll get back in there, he'd be a better fighter for it, and it's no shame in losing to someone like Canelo. Like, he's beaten over 60 odd other people as well. So
yeah, he's been a pro since 15. I mean, they posted a picture. I saw a picture of him after his first pro fight, and yeah, surely now he can make this mega fight with Crawford. I think that's probably next, because Benavidez, I think, is fighting June 15th on the Gervonta Davis undercard. So, because then if you look at his mandatories, WBC David Benavidez, WBA Edgar Berlanga, IBF William Skull, good fights there. I think Edgar Berlanga is probably the more likely.
I think it's Berlanga next.
But Alvarez has 3 mandatory challenges. He's never fulfilled any mandatory challenger in the WBA and IBF.
That's because he's tended to jump up and then take on the next division, I think, is why.
Jumping up, though, next is the rematch with Bivol.
No,
I don't want to see that.
You could do it in Saudi Arabia, but I just don't think so. I don't know if Canelo jumps down to Crawford.
No, they'll get a catch weight, wouldn't they? They'll get a catch weight.
Because it just seems, obviously then Canelo's then going to lose his belts because he hasn't taken on the mandatory challengers. It'll open up that division, which is actually a really strong division that he's kind of got on lock at the moment. And then if he loses to Crawford, he's then got no belts, which I don't know if he'd want to risk.
I don't think he has many fights left, though, does he, realistically? No. Like, I think he's probably aiming more now to just get the most money out of the last few fights he has rather than the belts, because he's won all the belts he needs to, hasn't he? So
yeah, I think that was his first impressive performance in his last 3, I think. I'd say he didn't look particularly. Obviously, he lost against Bivol. He didn't look great against Charlo in his last fight.
Yeah, but Charlo, let's be honest, Charlo didn't fight.
And then was it Triple G fought in the middle?
And Golovkin.
Yeah, so
probably the best performance since Caleb Plant in 2021.
Yeah, which I guess is a good sign, because people were starting to ask questions about whether or not he is getting a bit old, but he's just good, basically. Is he a pound for pound great currently? Still top 5?
Just in the top 5, then maybe.
Possibly. There's just so many good fighters out there in the minute, and like
maybe we'll have to.
Why don't we just update our list now?
We can do it now if you want. I'm happy to.
I'm happy to do it. Inoue, Crawford, Usyk, Fury, Canelo Alvarez.
Is that your 5 in that order?
Yes.
Ooh, I think the problem is last time I went Devin Haney, and since the Garcia lost, I don't think that looks so good.
Where's Devin Haney dropped down on?
Inoue and Crawford are 1 and 2, wouldn't he?
Yeah, in that order for me.
Usyk a 3rd.
Hang on, who's number 1 for you though? Inoue.
Crawford for me.
No, I think for me it's Inoue 1.
I think it's Inoue just for being how active he's been.
Crawford 2. Number 3. Is it Usyk in 3?
Has to be. He's done what Inoue's done.
I'm gonna say Canelo 3.
Wow.
Usyk 4, but Usyk 3 if he beats Fury.
Okay.
And then
Ryan Garcia 5.
No, absolutely not. It's not Fury. Bivol, it's not Tyson Fury.
I forgot about Bivol. Bivol instead of Fury then in my top 5.
I'm going to say It would be the winner of Beterbiev Bivol, but that fight's not going on. So I'm going to give it to Bivol because he's fit and he's not injured. But it's between Bivol Beterbiev for me
for the fifth spot.
For the fifth spot.
Okay. There's so many good fighters out there, though, ain't there? You can make a list. You can say, I'm going to do a top 10 pound for pound. You have to do like a top 20 just to get them all in.
Yeah.
So many good fighters out there.
Maybe we should do that one day. We'll do a top 5 pound for pound who aren't those 5 we just named after another top episode. Possibly, not now.
British fighters. That could be a good one. Or Welsh
Number
fighters
2,
as well.
Johnny Fisher. Harry will say.
You fool.
Yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up for what was it was a good weekend of boxing. I mean, it's hard for it to outlive expectation. When I say there was 12 world titles on the line, it's hard to outlive that, but I think it lived up to it. Certainly, I think it was a good weekend of boxing. Next weekend, or this weekend coming up, is obviously a huge weekend, busy weekend of boxing. But before we get into that, some of the audio clips. The first one is Chantel Cameron talking about why she left Matchroom and the way she feels she was mistreated by Matchroom and why she's now moved over to Queensberry.
No, I think they got me the belts, become undisputed, had a headline that I had a great fight with Mary McGee, but let's be real, they didn't promote me well. Like, I beat Katie Taylor and they didn't want to know it. They was gutted, and he was, and people don't want to hear that because people want me to keep my mouth shut and say nothing, but I absolutely broke his heart the night that I ruined the homecoming for Katie Taylor. I broke his heart, so...
It's an interesting point from Cameron. I think it's fair to say that Eddie Hearn's had a favourite out of those two in that fight.
100%.
And I can imagine that's a bit of a kick in the teeth when you've had the best moment of your career and your promoter's more upset that the other person's lost than you have won. But do you think it's fair for her to say that she was badly promoted by Matchroom, or is that just a one-off instance necessarily?
Badly promoted. You get how many? 2 undisputed fights. 3 undisputed fights. That's very bad promoting. Come on now.
Yeah, she had some big fights, but like, you can see what she means from the point of Katie Taylor's always been pushed more than her. Especially, like, she beat Katie Taylor for the belts. And
her last 3 fights have been big fights. The other bloody 9 of them have probably been... 15, sorry. Have been crap fights, but you can't say you haven't been promoted well when you've had 3 opportunities at a world title and you've won 2 of them.
I suppose, though, her point is if you're at that level where you're getting 3 world title fights, you should be getting some premium treatment. You're one of the best fighters in the stable.
Says a lot.
And yet she's getting the person she beat.
She doesn't get pushed.
The preferred option.
Says a lot.
She didn't get pushed the same as Katie Taylor got pushed.
No. And I suppose seeing as she won that first fight, I can maybe see her grievances with it.
It says a lot, though, when she didn't fight in England then in the rematch. It went straight back to Dublin. What
I'm happy with is that she's gone over to Queensberry because I think Queensberry are lacking a lot of female talent in their roster. I think Eddie's doing really well in terms of not only just female talent, but also obviously American talent now as well with Matchroom. And yes, Queensberry have the best heavyweights. Yes, Queensberry have the best middleweights. And we'll see some other weight classes after the 5v5 that maybe they have the better of. But I think Matchroom are doing better in terms of their whole stable.
No, yeah, definitely.
When you can lose someone like Chantel Cameron and be like, it's a shame, never mind. You got to be doing all right.
They've probably picked up the best fighter over the last few weeks only, Matchroom, with John Ennis. So
yeah, of course, with Boots. Yeah, and Eddie's promoting him very well. He seems to bring him up in every interview.
He saved an argument with Ryan Garcia's dad.
Yeah, true. Bizarre moment that is.
John Ennis. Okay, man.
Okay, respect. And that maybe pushes on perfectly to our next audio clip, which is Eddie Hearn talking about a certain Ryan Garcia and some of the, I was going to say allegations, but I suppose it's more than allegations because it is a proven positive result. Obviously, what the truth behind that is, we'll find out in due time, but this is what Eddie had to say about it.
And obviously saw everything, very sad for the sport. I do believe that all fighters deserve the opportunity to have their case heard, of which he will do, and he should get that opportunity to do so. And it's not just enough to say everyone's got it in for me, because it's just not, like, with all due respect, it's not really a valid argument. What we do know is that when Ryan Garcia fought Devin Haney, he had performance-enhancing drugs in his system.
What are you saying then, boys? Ryan Garcia is a drug cheat? Is that the title of the episode? What are you saying?
We can't put that as a title of the
no, we
episode
won't.
Until it's proven.
And also,
if it is,
it would be our about 4th Ryan Garcia title in a row, which we're
at least
better.
we get views.
We're better than that.
He came 3 pounds overweight. Performance-enhancing drugs. It's not a good look, is it? Let's be honest.
And it's not, but Eddie Earn, at the same time, if he's going to have that opinion about Ryan Garcia, should he also have the same opinion about someone he's making money from?
Yeah, I mean, obviously...
Who's that, Ben?
Conor Ben.
World's biggest scrambled egg fan.
Because he was found the exact same thing. It's obviously a different drug, but...
In that whole interview, I think it was with IFL TV, he does go on to say that obviously he's done the process, he knows what the process is, and that unfortunately, the way it is, from experience, is you're guilty until proven innocent with this sort of thing.
Yeah.
So he does touch on that in a sense, but also
that's his reputation ruined, though.
He's got to protect his fighter, and Devin Haney was distraught with the loss, and then you find out that the guy came in disrespectfully overweight, all the antics in the build-up, and then had drugs in his system. If it's proven that was a bad test or whatever, then fair play to Ryan Garcia, great performance, etc., etc. But if it's proven that he had Austrian in his system at the fight night,
he'll end up with a lengthy ban, and only
possibly.
You probably won't see him fight again for a while if they prove it all as well.
Look at Jarrell Miller,
Yeah, getting all the big
fights. He'll be
fights.
over in Saudi before we know it, Ryan Garcia, with all the mega fights.
Oh, we're not getting back into this of you accusing Turki Al-Sheikh of liking performance-enhancing drugs. That was the first thing ever said on our podcast.
That was like when we did a trailer for the first episode that you used to do at the start. It just got me and you
If anyone ever, the first thing people came across on this podcast was you saying that Turki Al-Sheikh likes peds, which is mental. But you said it, not me.
Defamation there, mine, but there we go.
I think the problem with this is he tested the day before I believe, on a voluntary VADA test, which he put up on Twitter.
Apparently that gets sent to Salt Lake City as well.
And then he got a random test the next day and failed it on fight night. So do you think he was just trying to be clever? And think if he did himself
he would have been taking them, if he was taking them all, he would have been taking them for weeks. He wouldn't have just been taking them the night before the fight.
So what, I listened to Frank Warren talking about it, and he was saying that basically, you get tested just before your fight, and you get tested after your fight, but what maybe he thinks he tried to do was basically just take something the day before to give him just to perform a boost on fight night, and then hope it was out of his system by the test afterwards. Whereas they've then pulled him for a random test.
Would it kick in that quick though?
And then they've pulled him for a random test, and he's been tested. And I don't know. This is just what Frank Warren said.
I think it happened with Robert Helenius when he fought AJ as well, didn't it?
Yeah. What happens a lot of the time is people take it just before the fight, after the testing, and then get found out after the fight. Whereas he obviously got done with a random search. We don't know. It's speculation. We'll find out in due course.
It should be a no contest.
Don't sue us. Do you think it should be?
I think it should be.
Well, it will
go
down as a no contest.
No contest.
Yeah, that seems the right option. It should just be wiped, because
that's still going to affect Devin Haney, though.
Yeah, we got a fighter on the other side of the argument, Devin Haney. That's probably all mentally gone, ain't he?
And he took a
battering,
bit of a beating.
How many times did he get knocked down?
3 knockdowns.
Yeah, but I suppose mentally, if the illusion, because we spoke to, it was Brandon Scott who said it originally, and I spoke to Johnny Nelson about it.
Oh, my best mate.
And and Johnny Nelson said, to be the best in the world, you have to believe you can beat anyone on the planet. Any boxer on the planet you can go and beat. And Devin Haney would have believed that. And then that illusion's been shattered now by losing to Ryan Garcia. But then if he finds out that he had performance-enhancing drugs in his system, then Haney, that illusion's back, because you go, oh, I was only beaten because he cheated. I'm the best clean fighter on the planet, basically, is what he's thinking. So I think if it's overturned, no contest, I think Devin Haney can, other than the damage he's taken, can carry on as usual. and look to move up in weight maybe.
When there are videos this weekend of him and Gervonta Davis going back and forth.
Gervonta Davis is on the hunt for him by the look.
That could be a hell of a fight.
Gervonta Davis is a weight class lighter, isn't he?
Get a catch weight for it.
I think Haney needs to move up in weight because he looked weak.
Yeah, he didn't look
and
great.
drained on fight night. I think he needs to move up to welterweight, rather than
against
looking
people
back.
like Terence Crawford.
He's always struggled though with the weight, ain't he, Devin Haney? When you look at it,
It's because he's a big super lightweight. He's a seriously big super lightweight. He weighed 75 kilos versus Regis Prograis. You got to make 64 to be a super lightweight.
Bloody hell.
That's 11 kilos of rehydration. That's mental.
How the hell did they do that?
Just God knows. God knows. Not for me. Not
Constant
for me.
Eating and bloody
Just a big poo in the morning. That's the only way you gotta go.
And you don't want to have a big poo, though.
That's true. Yeah, you never know.
We're talking about. Welcome to the Puncher's Chance podcast.
Yeah, this one's gone into chaos. Bivol versus Beterbiev cooled off. I mentioned it earlier. I accidentally said it earlier, but how irritating is that? What a shame.
It's a bit like Fury Usyk, you know, back in February, but this time around, I don't think we see the fight.
No, I don't think we're gonna see it, which is a real shame because that would have been one of the all-time
fight of the
great
year
fights.
Right there.
If we do see it towards the end of the year, it will be the talk of, while we're on performance enhancing drugs, of Beterbiev being juiced will go up no end, because I think it was Liam Smith, after he battered Callum Smith, was like, nah, there's no way he's like real. There's no way at his age. I don't think he is. I think he's just, mental. But if he gets back from this injury at his age,
he's 40. He'll be 40 probably by the time they fight. So
I just can't see that happening now.
It's a shame.
It seems like a serious injury, doesn't it? So,
and now the main event of June 1st is going to be Deontay Wilder, Zilazan.
Yeah, true.
But they could be smart, mine, and make it a 6 versus 6 now with Dimitri Bivol, and get possibly Anthony Yarde Bivol. But Yarde has kicked himself in the foot.
Yeah, Yarde's having the problems, isn't he?
He's not going to go back with Queensbury, is he?
Get Boatsy in.
Squeeze AJ
he's
on
boxer though. Who's
signed Boatsy? Is he boxer or is he a free agent?
Because I thought Dan Aziz.
Oh, is he free agent? Okay, you could do. Yeah. Who?
Frank Warren hasn't used his free agent yet.
Who does Bivol fight?
They've put a name out, but I can't remember the name.
Who does Bivol fight next? Do you think? Because I don't know where he goes from this. He's not a big light heavyweight, so I don't necessarily feel confident of him moving up to cruiserweight. Bivol versus Jair Pataya. I don't know about that one from Bivol's point of view. It's tough now. That was like it was the perfect fight. It was there. It was the one you wanted.
That was probably probably Beterbiev's thing of, if he wins or loses, he's like, yeah, thanks guys for being a blast. I'm off now.
And
I think looking at it, the most likely thing is Boatsy jumping in and taking it.
Listen.
But is he going to take it on short notice? I don't know if he's been...
I'm not being funny. If they're throwing money, what they're throwing around in Saudi Arabia at you, you're going to say yes, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, he's the Commonwealth and the British, Boatsy. Undefeated fighter, ranked 3rd in the world in the light heavy. He's the next in line, you'd have thought.
Callum Smith comes back.
You're going to take a risk of what could possibly be your last world title shot against someone like Bivol on a month's notice. Or
I don't think he does it on June.
Training
roll the dice, I say. If I'm Boatsy's manager, I'm saying, yeah, go for it. You ain't going to have a bigger payday.
If I'm Boatsy's manager, I think I say, we'll fight Bivol, but not on June 1st. I think we'll fight Bivol at the end of the year or something.
I won't want to take him on in a month's notice.
No, but to give yourself the opportunity of the 2 belts, and possibly if Beterbiev doesn't fight for a while, maybe that's their thinking. If Beterbiev can't fight, he'll have to vacate those belts, and then you can fight Bivol. Bivol will want the fight because he'll want all 4 belts, and then you will get the fight because you get the chance to win all 4 belts. It's a win-win, really. And the money involved in a
Saudi Arabia
unification fight is big. Big money.
I wouldn't mind that sort of money. Maybe I need to get into
I wouldn't say no to
fight.
it. I wouldn't say no to it, certainly.
Have a phone call now after this podcast. So, fancy stepping in to fight Bivol June 1st?
No.
Could be a good idea, mine, putting a 6 versus 6 now. Might make it a bit better.
Yeah, but 5's a good number, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know that's a silly thing to say, but...
It is a good number, I know what you
They're
mean.
probably just on a hunt for an opponent for Bivol, isn't they?
Is he still the main event, or, as I said earlier, is Wilder Zhang now the main event June 1st?
It depends on what they put him up against. I think if they manage to get Buatsi in there, that probably is the main event in there. But
yeah, and I suppose it's just hard. Like
we're forgetting that Bivol's last fight was against Lyndon Arthur as well. So
yeah,
and wasn't that on late notice as well for Lyndon Arthur?
Probably, yeah, but he didn't half batter him.
Yeah, it was 12 rounds.
He made him look pretty silly, and I just don't know if there's anyone else at that level of Bivol and Beterbiev. So it almost feels like they're like a step above. Yeah, and there was talks of them moving up to cruiserweight. So
they could just
you never know.
Go down the rankings and just see who wants to jump in and take a chance of trying to win a belt.
What, Buatsi, then Callum Smith, Anthony Yard.
There's like a couple of Americans and Ukrainian in that as well.
Alexander.
That could be the fight.
I could see
Ukraine, Russia.
I was going to say, he's the guy fighting Benavidez.
Oh, is he?
At light heavy, yeah.
Forget that.
I also don't know if politically you'd put on a Russia versus Ukraine fight. I just think it would be a bit risky.
It could sell.
I was going to say you'd start a war.
You could sell it.
You already has, but it just seems like a bad idea. Maybe they would.
It adds a bit of narrative to it, don't it?
Yeah, just a bit.
Probably not the narrative you want.
No.
Definitely not.
Not the narrative you want to bring to Saudi Arabia.
Wow.
Especially when the Russian is probably going to end up winning the fight.
Yeah, true. It's not. Anyway, let's
get on to Saturday.
This weekend's fights. Let's have a look.
Quick swerve before we get cancelled.
We've obviously got Lomachenko, Kambosos Jr. fighting
Sunday, ain't it?
On Sunday, of course, Sunday the 12th.
Never.
Over in Australia, you've got Andrew Maloney fighting for the WBC interim, Nina Hughes defending her WBA belt. So that's 3 world title fights just there. Another weekend of world title fights. Now, this is the one we're going to do for the predictions, isn't it, on the Boxing News app? Am I right in saying that's the one on there?
Yeah.
Oh. So we'll save that till the end. We've obviously got Cardiff this weekend. Jessica McCaskill, Lauren Price, Rhys Edwards, Thomas Patrick Ward.
Hell of a fight.
We won't talk about this in too much depth because we're going to be at the fight week this week, hopefully, and we're definitely going to be at the media or at the fight night on Saturday. So there's going to be far too much content on the channel about that. So we're not going to talk about one fight from that one.
What, from the McCaskill?
Yeah, from that card. And why is it Moses Jolly?
Moses Jolly's just probably the best prospect in Welsh boxing at the moment. Nah, listen.
Big claim.
I think Lewis Edmondson, Joel McIntyre is going to be a hell of a scrap.
Do you think the winner of that, or Lewis Edmondson, if he wins that, gets the Whittaker fight next, do you think?
It's got to be.
For the British?
Has to be. I can't believe we're watching him live as well, you know. The other thing as well, Hughie Fury's on the card. I'm looking forward to seeing him fight as well.
It'll be interesting to see that. I think the one I'm looking forward to most is probably Mark Jeffers.
Yeah?
Mark Jeffers versus Darren Johnston. I believe it's for the Commonwealth Silver, which would then set up the fight with Zach Chelly for the British and the Commonwealth belt.
Who was Chelly going at the other week now?
Callum Simpson, wasn't it?
Callum Simpson, yeah. It was Callum Simpson after he beat Barbe.
Probably Jeffers getting
Wardley Clark.
Mark Jeffers versus Zach Chelly would be an easy fight to make, I think, and I think it makes sense.
Hell of a scrap.
But also Darren Johnston said after his last win, he's 8-0. He's an unbeaten fighter. Mark Jeffers never fought an unbeaten fighter. He said that he wants the British and he wants the Commonwealth. That's his dream. This one's the Commonwealth Silver. That would get him. So I certainly don't think it would be an easy fight for Mark Jeffers.
Kieran Jones as well. We were talking about rolling the dice earlier. He's rolling the dice against an undefeated fighter. So
two undefeated Welsh boys.
First time in his career.
Both born in Newport, I believe.
Bloody hell, look at that stat.
Someone's done his research. And what's yours, Ben? What's your pick fight?
What I think is going to be fight of the night, Rhys Edwards and Thomas Patrick Ward.
Yeah, that's what I left that one for you because I thought you'd say it.
Yeah.
What a fight. Brilliant opportunity for Rhys as well. WBA Intercontinental. I mean,
we talked about it a bit with Dewi Powell last week, and he said if Cordina and Lauren Price are like king and queen of Welsh boxing, and this is Rhys Edwards' chance to sort of become the prince and the next in line to come through in terms of Welsh prospects. And he's 15-0, got obviously taken a massive fight in someone that's only lost once in 36 fights. Chance to get a title, it'll push him on. He'll be in contention and for some big fights in the future.
For sure. It's an exciting week.
The main event. The main event.
We'll leave that one. I think that one sells itself.
Can we put our predictions out there, though? Come on. Let's say our predictions.
What, for the
main event?
Right.
Is Wales going to have a new world champion come Sunday morning?
I'll run through the whole card, mate. Lauren Price win, Rhys Edwards win, Mark Jeffords, Hughie Fury, Lewis Edmondson, Kieran Jones, Kane Shepherd, Moses Jolly. Yeah. No, Lauren Price is on the right hand side.
Okay.
She's the away fighter.
I agree with all that. Does Lauren Price stop Jessica McCaskill?
I think she wins on points.
I agree. So it's going to be different.
I think she wins on points. I don't think she's got the... I don't know... Not that she hasn't got the knockout power, but I think
it'll be a nervy start, and it's her first world title fight. McCaskill's experienced. But I think over the course of... And there's 10 2-minute rounds to go.
It's going to be over in a flash, ain't it?
And McCaskill's she's just a tough fighter. I don't think she's going to be easy to beat at all.
Gets a stoppage?
No.
No? Okay.
No, I think a guy who's been in the ring 36 times is going to be a difficult task for Rhys. I back him doing it, but I think it'll be a tough ask.
They were advertising him as well, Rhys Edwards, with like 10 million views on TikTok. Have you seen that one video? I know Zoe was talking about it.
Yeah, with the pillow.
Yeah.
It is funny, to be fair. Good head movement.
I know.
It's good head movement.
He's a very good fighter.
I thought about doing that.
I think he gets a stoppage, if I'm being honest, Rhys Edwards. There's me being different.
Big claim. Anyway, we said we weren't going to talk about it too much because there's,
like I said, about it for like
tons
10
of content.
minutes.
Check out the channel later in the week. Loads of content. Fingers crossed.
Bentley and Dignam this weekend.
Dignam, WBO International.
There's loads of fights on.
Yeah.
That's
Liam Dillon's fighting for the WBC International Super Feather.
That's fight of the weekend.
Versus undefeated Ryan Garner.
Fight of the weekend.
Yeah.
Nathaniel
Collins as well for the EBU Silver, I assume that's the European Silver belt.
Yeah.
It's a lot of good fights.
Say York Hall as well.
Yeah, not a bad little venue.
I really want to go to York Hall.
I want to go to York Hall as well. Yeah. I want to go to York Hall.
I love how people are saying, I want to go to Saudi Arabia, and there's me and you saying, yeah, York Hall, please.
Massive fight there, though, for Denzel Bentley. Coming off the loss, obviously, to Nathan Heaney.
He's straight back in the mix, though, ain't he? So fair play to him.
I think, yeah, you've got to be. I don't think it wasn't a walk-through performance from Heaney necessarily. No. So I think you can go into that with confidence, saying, yeah, I deserve to be at this level, basically, I think. And then Paul Butler fighting for an IBO World Bantamweight title versus Norberto Jimenez. It's a lot of good fights this weekend.
You got Robbie Davis Jr. tomorrow night as well.
Who did Butler fight last?
He was over in Japan winning at one point. He fought in Norway, didn't he, Butler?
I feel like it went long ago.
Maybe. Yeah, I remember him fighting recently. Was it not the one in Liverpool? Did he not fight in Liverpool?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
On the undercard of... Who? No, in Liverpool.
Harris.
Was
it not? Was it Jay Harris he fought?
No. That was Conor Butler, wasn't it?
Conor Butler?
Yeah.
I've got no idea.
Butler?
This is shocking from us. Maybe we're getting Conor Butler.
Yeah, we're getting that's probably
mixed up.
Everyone gets the Butlers wrong.
Yeah. Paul Butler. Do you get your Butlers mixed up at home, Harry? Is that what it is?
You're so funny. Possible.
Yeah, because he hasn't fought since...
No, he did lose to Inoue, though.
Look at that.
In 2022, he lost to Inoue, yeah.
People say I have no idea about boxing.
He's lost he's lost every title fight.
Oh, okay.
He was the WBO interim. He won. But
is that up in Liverpool?
No, it's in Ellesmere Port, which I have not a clue.
Ellesmere Port,
that's up north, ain't it?
Ellesmere sounds it. Town in England. Where is Ellesmere? Is it Cheshire? So, what's that, like Blackburn? No, it's South Liverpool, yeah.
Close to Liverpool, Cheshire.
It's basically Liverpool. It's just off the Mersey, the River Mersey, yeah. Basically in Liverpool. Let's jump into the predictions.
Lucas Brown's fighting this weekend as well.
Everyone's fighting this weekend.
Yeah, he's fighting
I love watching
You boys are fighting this weekend? You got a fight on?
There's loads of heavyweight fights on it, man. 2 heavyweight fights. Light heavyweight fight.
Right. This is one of the few times I've done absolutely no prep.
This is where Ben comes in and wins, because he's picked which fight night we're doing this week.
It's the only one on there, I think. Oh, I want to be
the Bentley one's on there, but I thought...
we'll do this watching it, so there's pointless.
Yeah, we'll be busy. Busy bees. Let's have a look. Okay, man.
Bloody hell. Luke, we can predict so many fights here. 1 a.m. start as well, so they're doing it American time then.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like
Lomachenko
afternoon
versus
turf.
Kambosos Jr. Start at the bottom.
Hemi-
You've got Lucas Brown versus Hemi Ahio at heavyweight. 8 rounds. Ooh.
Hemi Ahiho stoppage.
Yeah, I've gone the same.
I've gone the same.
God's sake.
Nina Hughes, Shaneka Johnson.
Is this Nina Hughes you interviewed?
That Ben interviewed. Why was that not up on the channel, Ben?
You didn't
Why
put
was
it
that
on the channel?
Let's not talk about it.
What happened?
It just,
Let's tell the people. Come on.
There was a slight mix-up with. We'll blame BoxRec and Harry. Ben asked a silly question and he got a silly answer. So he wasn't.
And they go on about me asking silly questions.
You just don't ask any questions.
Did you ask her for a pound for pound?
No.
That's where you messed up.
didn't go that
Ah, that's where you get the quality there.
For context, I didn't think it was a bad interview. Ben thought it was a bad interview, so I didn't put it up on the channel. But there's a clip on our Instagram. Shout out Nina Hughes.
She's going to win though, ain't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
I
actually.
don't know.
41-year-old. She's only 6-0. She's had less fights, less rounds than Johnson. Younger fighter. I back Hughes to get a points decision, but I don't think it'll be an easy fight by any means.
I agree. Nina Hughes points decision.
I'll go opposite.
What? You're
I'll
going
go
for the...
Shaneka Johnson points decision.
Fair enough. It's just because you don't like it.
It's just that interview, isn't it?
No, she's
No,
a
she's
very
lovely
good fighter,
too,
but she's the away fighter is the issue.
Is she? I suppose she is, yeah, because it's Australia, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay then.
Imam Katiev versus
I've
Richard.
changed mine.
You are? I'll back myself.
I've just heard the away fighter thing.
You
can't-
flake.
You can't change
just
it,
back
okay.
doesn't back. No, I'll let
I
him do
don't
it.
back the judges. Listen, this is boxing we're talking about now.
I'll let him do it because I back myself. I back the decision I made.
This is
Imam
where I
Katiev
lose.
versus Ricard Bolotniks. Light heavyweight, 10 rounds.
He's got
Oh,
100%
He's got 100%
knockout
knockout rate. He's a good fighter.
100%.
Bolotniks.
You can tell
has
he's
a lot
done
of
his
losses
research
on the
Wayne,
records
as well. If you go that then, 100%
I'm only
knockout.
just looking at
I'm
it.
with you. You'd be silly to vote against that.
No.
The last time we all did this, we was with what's the American Mexican fighter fought in pink last time out, and he didn't get the knockout, and he didn't look very impressive. This is annoying me now. You love him. He's your best mate. Not your best mate, but you liked him. You said, I can't remember who it was. This is beating me now.
My best mate.
You carry on. Carry on without me. I'm going to do some research real quick.
Next
looking
one's
for it.
Andrew Maloney and Pedro Guevara.
Maloney points.
I'm going for
I'm going Maloney points as well.
Oh, me and Ben.
Maloney points.
Oh, wow. We're all agreeing. Who was the fighter? Come on.
It is Diego Pacheco.
Yeah.
Versus Sean McCalman. We all like 100%. He's going to get a knockout. He always gets a knockout, and he didn't.
Yeah.
So that's why.
We've jinxed it then.
Took me a while there. Took me a while to get that, but I remember.
The main event.
This is
Lomachenko
difficult.
Kambosos Jr.
The proper 50-50.
I'm going
IBF
to go
and
for,
IBO World
might
Light
actually
Weight
go-
Champion.
It's Sunday morning, this one. I might actually
Yeah,
go to
I'm going to
watch
go
it.
Kambosos Jr. knockout.
Wow.
Big claim. I've slapped it down. That's what I'm happy with. Back myself. What are you boys saying?
I'm really stuck with this one.
It's tough. It's a tough one.
I wish we do prep before we do these.
You can. You're more than welcome to, bud. You're more than welcome
No,
to
you always
do
forget.
research for the podcast.
I had my prep done for the Bentley Dingham card, but then Ben
of
chose
course,
this one to win.
course.
I can't bet against Vasily Lomachenko.
You can tell Harry's really thinking because he can't talk when he thinks. He just goes silent.
I'm a bit stuck on this one.
Oh, you
Should me and you just go draw?
I think you two.
You take the draw if you want to.
All right, if I take the draw, then we don't count the main event as points. How about
Absolutely not. No.
that? All right, then I'm not taking the draw then.
I'm giving you lot 15 seconds to click a
Lomachenko
choice.
stoppage. Because I think you can't. Yeah, Lomachenko stoppage.
I'm going to go Lomachenko points.
All right, quickly submit them.
Got to click your rounds
52
as well.
rounds as well. I need to make sure I pay attention to these rounds.
Yeah.
So that's going to be over quick. 48, 10,
I'm going 51.
51.
Wait till Harry goes 52 now.
I'll go 48. Submit predictions.
Fair enough. What are you saying, Ben?
16.
45.
45. So what are your guys' odds on the bet slip? Is it said? I'm on a 30 to 1.
17 to 1.
Ooh.
Mine's come up with 7-1.
It's because I've got knockout, isn't it, on that main event, is why. That's a high odds. Well, fair enough. That is, that's that done.
I'm winning. It's
going to be exciting. We need to get ourselves a belt at some point. If you boys chuck us 20 quid, I found one, a good one. But I found a good one we can get in.
Make sure it fits me though.
Get just a WWE one from like.
Nah. This one's like a proper sick one.
Just have the undisputed champion. Just all different, like the Intercontinental, the US title, the.
Yeah, that's what Harry will introduce a different one for who gets the like the rounds right and stuff like that. A little sub belt.
I'm more than happy.
That's pretty much everything I think for this one. We've got, like I said, with busy week. We're at Cardiff all week. We should be at the open workout, press conference, weigh-ins, fight night. Hopefully, plenty of interviews with all the fighters.
Massive shout out to Boxer as well for allowing us to come and
shout out to Boxer. Yeah. Hopefully, some other people there. We'll never know. Check out the channel for all of that stuff. Our last episode was with Derry Powell, KO Cymru, big
really
media outlet in Wales. Great episode. Check that one out. Shout out to Derry for coming on. Anything else? You wanna tease our next episode, Harry?
The next episode, we are going to be sitting down with a certain commentator. A big commentator.
Who happens to be Harry's best friend. That's all we'll say. I don't know if we've said that I think we've said that on the podcast before.
Go back and listen to him.
So for all the people who care, which is nobody, you can go back and listen to all the other ones. Anyway, that's pretty much everything for this one. We'll catch you all guys later in the week for another episode, or maybe next week when it comes out. We don't know. But other than that, thank you all for listening.